Hello and welcome to an off-season episode, second to last off-season episode. We're just going to call this one Gem City. Touch a little bit on baseball, wrap up that season. We are now in the postseason of that, and also talk a little bit about some fantasy football, as it is definitely that season. With me, as always, I have Zachary Stewart, the commish.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Looks like a Sprite. Is that what you got going on?
Yeah, just a little seltzer water.
LaCroix.
Look, I call it La Crepes.
Yeah, Laurent Duvernay Tardif.
Yeah, it's starting to get that fantasy football season. I've been grinding away like always, but baseball's wrapping up and seeing if Dalton and I can match up in the semifinals.
If you can pull out this victory, we're guaranteed to meet up.
Yeah, I was hoping we could potentially meet up championship week when we're in Laramie. But if we do play next week, I am coming down next week for your Rollins work draft, which I am doing sticker bitch, and
as well as drafting a team,
as well as guest drafting a team. So hopefully I can squeeze out this win, and we can enjoy the little bit of semifinal matchup. But Dalton's team's going to kick my ass, so it's not a big deal. Dalton's team is loaded beyond belief. So
we have put together a pretty good offense, that's for sure.
Yeah, I believe you were 1,000 points more scored than the next closest guy, I believe, or at least I think it was 1,000 points.
1,134
ahead of Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, like you just you have like 101 wins and like 60 losses. It's like your plus minus ratio. Yeah. Whereas I'm like 82 and 82. I have like a wash.
Let's see.
At that point.
I actually haven't looked at that in a minute, but we do have that stat.
Yeah.
I have 106 wins, 62 losses. That's insane.
Yeah. And look at mine. Mine's I'm 500. I'm
50. 85 and wait, I was looking at saves. My bad. I am 106 and 62. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You are 83 and 85. Actually, I am by far have the biggest
margin by far.
Yeah. The next closest being Steve Marsock, but he's not doing so hot in the postseason right now.
Look at Droogs. His doesn't have a big gap, but he's got way more saves, so that kind of puts him up there as well.
That's why 101 saves. That is insane.
Yeah.
Is that a Aroldis Chapman?
Rafael Iglesias. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of closers.
Rysel, Alex Reyes, Matt Barnes, Ian Kennedy, Lou Trevino.
Yeah, he's been racking up those points, making up for his lack of starting pitching.
Mm-hmm. So I guess, good.
Oh no, it's coming down. I mean, if I can pull out the win, I mean, I would technically be an upset if I were to lose the 4-5 matchup, but if things can work out, top 4 teams to the semifinals, the top 6 playoff teams have been a lock for the last couple of weeks. So everyone's just been kind of jockeying for position, especially Matt, LaFond, and myself. We all finished at the same record. It went down to points. I tried to play. I was the furthest down, and I was trying to play catch up. I ran the numbers. I got a little gutsy on last Sunday trying to make up points, and one of my pitchers that I streamed, which was a big no-no, negative 24.
Wasn't it 0.2 innings pitched or something like that?
It was like 1.1. He got lit up.
Who was that again?
Chris Bubik.
Oh, yeah, he's been up and down this year for the Royals.
He was doing all right, but then the Cardinals lit him up. It was in Kauffman Stadium too, I think. So that's not a hitter's park, but and then so I ran the numbers, and there was one point during the season that LaFond and I were actually tied in record or tied in record and tied in points, and he was still ahead. I'm not sure what the second tiebreaker was. Maybe points allowed or
Runs.
I don't know. Oh, runs. So he would have won the tiebreaker either way because I was short of him by like 28 points. So even if I were have played them and I had one player on my batter bench score 8, so we would have tied. But knowing that he was ahead of me earlier in the week when we were tied, I would have had to outright get him, which it would have proved to be nice. I mean, you get to play the 6th seed, and Steve hasn't done too well down the stretch. He was doing pretty well.
Just like the Red Sox that came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, which is his pitching staff and some players. So that makes sense. Which I was hoping for that 3 seed. I was hoping for that 2 seed is chasing Matt. I was playing a little reckless down the stretch, trying to play catch up.
Yep. All right. I set a timer for the baseball talk. Cody, yeah. I know you'll be checking in on probably Apple, hopefully checking in on an Apple podcast, as that is a real thing now. I set a timer. We're only going to talk about baseball until the timer goes off, and then we'll switch over to football.
Cody would like to know how long that timer is.
Approximately 22 minutes. Approximately 22 minutes from now, Cody, you can skip ahead. All right. So
15.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what shakes when we get done with all this. We don't really have a ton of topics going on. I just figured we'd recap the fantasy season in baseball and see what we learned, what didn't work, as this was really our first true season of doing this. Yeah. I have to say, first of all, I love our format, and I love the window of weeks that we chose.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's long enough, but not quite short enough to. I mean, last year when we had the COVID season, it was 7. I think it was 7 weeks, and then 2 weeks playoff, so 9 weeks.
Yep.
You couldn't really hold on to anybody. You just had to make quick decisions and go with it, and not second guess yourself. This year, you're kind of holding on and hoping for the best and waiting something out, putting people on the IL. Last year you just cut and move on.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Zach Wheeler finished in 10th with a 3-15 record. He really struggled.
The injury bugaboo early.
Yeah. And his pitching was what let him down, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Only 1,000. Well, no. Yeah. Yeah, he had a pretty bottom of the barrel pitching staff. Looking at it.
By the way, the 2 teams that finished 9th and 10th both beat me.
That is true.
Yeah.
I forgot who games. my other 2 losses were, because I went on like a 9-game win streak at one point.
I beat you once.
Okay. Yeah. So you beat me. That was the week that I needed to beat you to sure up.
Yeah. I think Matt beat you
seed
when you were in Mexico.
Matt beat me week 1. I lost to Thompson, who is the guy you're currently losing to. Your mom asked me out. I lost to you and, man, I can't remember.
Maybe Steve?
I can find out, though. No.
Which was such a huge bummer. Like, if it was head-to-head, like, I beat Matt twice.
Week 2, I lost to Matt.
Okay.
And then I lost to Chris Thompson in week 5, and then I went on a
tear
9-game winning streak, and then I lost to Team Front Butt and then yourself.
Yeah.
I smoked Steve last week without even getting all my starts in. That was wild. I purposefully did not make any changes to my team besides getting rid of some people I didn't want on my postseason roster, or flipping them for some better moves, which I'm still looking at filling one hole in my team before next week. But I'm just going to wait and see who ends up being hot when it comes time for that.
Yeah, something that I've done at least in this last week is moving on from some of my IL players if I don't believe they're gonna be available for me in the next 2 weeks. So I dropped Pablo Lopez today. He's just about to start a minor league, I think. He just threw another bullpen, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it back. But holding out hope for Ian Anderson. He's been doing already rehab assignments, so maybe I can catch him in the next week if I can squeeze by on these next 3 days, which is going to be close. But just got to wait and see.
Both of us played the Bieber game. I have him currently. I'm also contemplating dropping him, but he did work a bullpen on Tuesday. I don't know if they're going to go the minor league rehab route or not. He has been out for quite some time, so his ramp up is probably too slow. I saw a report that he's supposed to come back in September. So honestly, I probably should move on from him, especially since I, out of nowhere, have 2 outfielders on the IL. So,
yeah, I played that game last week. I picked Bieber up too, but I had to move on because I had some other injury. George Springer went back on the IL. I'm not going to give up on that low ankle sprain, but again, I gotta get there first. Did
you trade for Springer, or have you had him all year?
No, he was on the IL for a super long time. He was on Weller's team, and he dumped him.
Oh yeah.
And I picked him up. The 2 trades the couple of trades I've done this year have not really worked out very well. They didn't kill me, but they didn't help me. Because I traded Cronenworth,
who's been a stud,
for LeMahieu, who is down at the time. He's been okay, but not as good as Cronenworth. And then it was kind of a wash. The trade I just had for Woodruff. Woodruff has just been not very good since I traded for him.
Weird because he's insane.
I know, it's been really rough, and so that was that. I mean, I gave up Kenley Jansen, and I mean the one that actually sucked is Kike Hernandez, who was tearing it up for a while, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. You got to make those tough moves just to see what happens. It looked like I lost both trades there for a minute. For one, the Cubs started playing really bad and they weren't pitching Kimbrel. So Kimbrel hit the shits, and then they traded him to the White Sox, and now he only gets setup roles, and he pitches like twice every 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. But Cole Tucker, besides being hurt a couple of times, has worked out. But for most of the beginning of that trade that I made, Brad Hand was actually outscoring him by a ton.
Yeah.
Which was the closer I flipped. But Brad Hand got traded to the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays don't know what they're doing with closers. So it worked out.
Yeah. I don't know. Trading is, I feel like it's more straight across in football. We know exactly what we're getting when we make a trade in fantasy football. Fantasy baseball.
It's so hard to tell because baseball is so streaky.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought for sure Evan Longoria was going to be like one of my biggest pickups all year. And then he got hurt. But before he got hurt, he was kind of tailing off, and he hasn't really put it together since he came back from the IL just yet. So. Remember the Pirates first baseman I was talking about on the last episode?
Yeah, he's been pretty bad.
Well, he got designated for assignment and demoted to AAA today. So, John Nagowski, dude.
Your dude.
Next up, go ahead.
I was going to say Trey Turner's 1 game away from being eligible at second base next year.
Is he really?
Yeah, because they've been.
He'll get there.
Yeah. He's going to get it today or tomorrow, whenever they play next.
Dude, Mookie might qualify for second base.
Yeah. That
would be insane. He might be the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. Get some infield, outfield eligibility. Yeah. Yeah. So Turner's going to get that for next year, so you can play him at. So I mean, if you want to double up
Second and short.
two good shortstops, you can.
Yep. And he's going to be the starting shortstop for the Dodgers next year. I do believe that is the plan with them. Trading for him, he's still got one more year of arbitration, whereas Corey Seager is a free agent at the end of this year, and he's been hurt. Unfortunate to see because he's such a damn stud, but it does not look like he's going to be wearing Dodger blue next year.
Not next year.
I love how this has just turned into like a rat-a-tat-tat session with it's fine. I hope Zach Weller returns next year to, try to. I'm sure he will. He loves baseball.
Yeah. I don't see why not.
Next up, we got Dickie Jitters, Ricardo Valdez. I do believe he will be back because he is also not a sore loser. He finished 5th last year, I believe, just barely missed the playoffs. It wasn't barely. It was by like 2 games, maybe out of only 7 games. He really needs to bounce back. His pitchers were insane. It's just he could not get hitters to save his life.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He had 100 less total bases than Weller, 20 less RBIs, 100 less, his offense actually was just about as bad as Weller's. They were about the same, which is weird because when you look at the names that Valdez had in his pitching staff, you're like, holy crap.
Who was 8th?
Bill. Bill
scored like 90 points last week.
I know. He got some wins in weird places. He ended up with 6. He ended up 6-12. I don't even know how, because he only had 4,500 points scored all year, which was 700 less than the guy below him.
Don't know.
Somehow
they were all in the first they were all in like the first 7-8 weeks.
Oh, his wins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got some random ones throughout the season, but good for him, man. He's still got a little bit of work to do on the fundamentals, and it is really challenging in fantasy baseball to keep up on it just because of how much you have to know, and you just really got to be on top of everything. And I think that goes to our number one thing we learned. And what is that, Zach?
Check how hot your players are before you move on from them.
No, that, but also
check your 15 and 7-day averages.
That too. But the biggest thing we learned this year is making sure you have 12 starts and making sure you only have 11 before Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of people got themselves into some maxed out trouble, and a lot of people just did not put up as many points as they could have based on their potential because they weren't paying attention to their starts.
Yeah, or you could be like me and try to keep starting pitchers, but end up as like an 85-85 record, so it doesn't really matter.
You had some injury issues with your pitchers, did you not?
Yeah, Ian Anderson got hurt.
Ian
Lopez. Garrett Cole had COVID. He was up and down. I lost.
You're second in innings pitched, so you definitely know how to play the system. Good job.
Yeah, do the best I can.
You gave up more hits, more earned runs, more walks, had less Ks than me. A lot less. 17 less wins, 23 more losses, and 7 less saves.
That's the big difference, the losses. I just couldn't catch breaks.
Holy crap. Yeah. 23 more losses than me. That's insane. That's 115 points.
Yeah. Just in that.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, well.
All right. Next up was Pat Brown. He has already told me he is definitely coming back for next year. He really liked the progress he started making towards the end. He started getting hot towards the end of the year, and he had some really good feelings about that. So he will for sure be back. Next up, we have Steve Marsock, who I wasn't really paying attention to him too much this year, but it didn't look like he had too much of a grasp. He did really good. I just don't think he, like Bill, paid as much attention.
Yeah, he had a rough summer.
Yeah. The only person who had fewer moves is Magic Man, LaFond, Droogs, and Pinstripes.
Back to back years. I think he made like 9 last year.
Yeah, nine moves last year, 22 this year. He is playing Hearts.
I've been
the card game reference.
He's made 22. I'm pretty sure I've moved 22 players to my IL this year.
Yeah. You have 123 moves. I have 125. Matthew has 172.
Matt's on the grind in this.
Dude, always flipping.
I flip like catchers like the last 4 days. And none of them
I ended up doing pretty well. I think it was like the second week I snatched up Omar Narvaez. Besides one stint on the IL-10, he's been great.
Yeah, I rocked Yachty for a while, and then he kind of got cold. Then I went with Dalton Varsho for a while from the Diamondbacks while Carson Kelly was out. But he had outfield eligibility too, so he was playing a lot. And then I went to Austin Nola, but he's been going back and forth. I'm going to try my luck with Carson Kelly the rest of the week.
So listen to this. Omar Narvaez has 2.1 points average for the season. But in his last 15, he is averaging 3.1 per game. Yeah, he is killing it.
Yeah, I wish I would have just not let go of Yachty because he plays every day
so much. Yeah,
he gets like 1 day off a week, and he is not putting up crazy numbers, but he's not striking out 3 times a game. Like I probably should have just hung on to Yachty, but you got to try new things.
Remember when we were doing the live stream for the draft, and I told everybody catchers are tight ends. You kind of just get one and you play him and you hope he doesn't suck.
Yep.
Here's the top 5.
Yeah, I drafted Buster Posey and I moved on. That was
I know because he got hurt. Remember?
Yeah, and so I moved on.
Top 3 catchers: Salvi Perez, Will Smith. The Fresh Prince. Buster Posey, JT Realmuto, and Omar Narvaez. Holy crap. Sneaking up there in number 6. I did not know this. Didn't you just pick? No. Tyler Stevenson.
Yeah, for the Reds.
181 points. When did that happen? Did he not have catcher eligibility all year?
I don't know. He plays first base too.
Let's see.
And he just got picked up.
He just got picked up.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have been picked up this whole time.
But again, he's not playing every day. Like that's like he's playing like he's like 3 games on.
He is now.
Yeah, now. But because he's got first, I think he's playing first base too. That's why.
Played 6 days in a row, had a day off, played 4, day off, and then 1. That's crazy. He must have just been really streaky all year. Currently, he's hot right now, 2.8 points per start in his last 15. The best catcher in the last 15 is Will Smith, of course.
Oh, is it? I was just going
Big Z, Mike Zunino is number 2.
Yeah, but he plays like every other day and hits a home run every other day.
Yeah. He doesn't play very often because Francisco Mejia is up and comer in the MLB right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to go with Big Z today, but then he wasn't in the lineup, so I went and I tried Carson Kelly, and then he wasn't in the lineup today either. So,
oh shit!
But Carson Kelly has the Rockies the next couple of days, so that's what I was looking forward to. Some power.
Yeah. So the big things we learned. I hope everyone comes back for one.
I think so.
We still don't have all the votes in on the poll to determine whether or not we are going to be doing a fee for next year. So unless we get all the votes in, I'm not going to do that. But there is a poll up. Go ahead and vote on that if you'd like. I hope you guys all come back. Another thing we learned is you really got to watch the streaks, because you can have a guy who's just going off, and then all of a sudden he starts tapering off.
Yeah. I wish I would have moved on from Juan Moncada a lot sooner.
It's hard to do with a guy with that pedigree.
Yeah. And I held on to him way too long and kind of bit me in the butt. I remember back weeks ago, I was like, and it was before Austin Riley got hot. And it was like, well, do I want to move on from Moncada? Austin Riley, he strikes out so much, but he figured it out. And guess who has him? One of the 22 moves LaFawn made was that one. So
I was on Austin Riley so early, and then he was hot, and I was riding that hot streak, and then he got cold, and I was like, I can't do this. He strikes out way too much.
Yeah, you get like -4 one day. It's a little too hard when that happens.
Listen, you can't have too many strikeout guys on your team when you have Tim Anderson. Okay, I've had Tim Anderson 2 years in a row now. You can't have a bunch of strikeout guys when that's who you have on your roster.
No, yeah. That's why I can live with Joey Gallo, because he strikes out 2 times, but walks 3 times.
Okay, I lied. My worst strikeout guy this year has been Willy Adames, 132 strikeouts.
I don't even want to know.
But the problem is Tim Anderson only has 18 walks to Willie's 49. 18 walks
all year.
He had 10. Yeah, he had 10 last year. In the shortened season, he had 10 walks. This year, he only has 18. See, that's the problem. When you got Tim Anderson, you kind of have to.
You just live with his strikeout rate.
Well, yeah, he's so hot right now.
Yeah.
He has averaged 2.5, which is basically what we'd like to call the 100 OPS line in fantasy baseball, if you get that reference. I was going to say the Mendoza line, but that's bare bottom average. I'd say like 1.8 is the Mendoza line.
Yeah, I want to see. I know I have. I'm even scared to look at my score. I'm probably gonna regret looking at this, but I want to see some strikeouts. Move on. Team? Yeah. We can move on to the playoff teams.
All right. Waiting for my computer to load. I might have to just switch over to my phone. The playoff teams in 6th place.
Oh, that was Steve. You already touched on Steve.
Yeah, we already talked about Steve. In 5th place was Chris Thompson. He's been pretty streaky this year. But he was pretty consistent. I didn't even realize he made it into the 5th spot.
Yeah, he did. That's why he's got me. Oh, that's the timer.
That's the timer, man.
All right.
Me, Matt with the bye. I have the bye. Zach's in a barn burner right now, down 2 points on Thursday.
How many?
3 days ago.
How many strikeouts do you think Joey Gallo has?
178.
160.
Oof.
How many walks?
22.
90.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Joey Gallo is a 3 true outcomes guy.
Yeah, he's got
his on base percentage is insane.
It's amazing. 180 total bases. Yeah. So that's a great. He strikes out a lot, but man, he walks a lot too. And then
Joey Gallo is one of the weirdest players ever.
And then Trevor Story, 102 Ks, 37 walks.
He's actually been really bad with the Yankees so far, Joey Gallo.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So you want to hear something hilarious? Joey Gallo, for his first 4 seasons, I'll just do a cumulative. He had a batting average of 203.
Oh, his batting average is awful. It's like 220 this year.
His on base percentage was 317. His slugging was 498. So he was an above average hitter, 815 OPS, 88 home runs, 479 strikeouts, and 169 walks. So that's how he started the first 4 years of his career.
Well, that sounds about right. This year he's batting 210, 70 runs, 29 homers, 63 RBIs, and 90 walks.
He is leading the AL in walks, and he's leading the majors in strikeouts this year.
He's gonna have like 100 walks and 300 strikeouts. He's not gonna hit 100 walks, 200 strikeouts.
200 strikeouts. Yeah, he is.
Right there. That's not
he's
too bad.
Currently hitting 210.
Yeah, not great. But man, he gets a lot of walks.
Yeah, he walks all the time. He's one of the weirdest players ever.
Yeah.
Last year, they had Joey Gallo watch on Talking Baseball last year because he hit for 181, 301, 378 for a 679 OPS, which is still below average, but still so weird. Anyway, we have to move on.
Cody.
Baseball.
Yep. The timer went off. So Cody, you can tune back in. If you jumped at 22 minutes, it actually was about 23:30. Yeah. But yeah, let's get to what everyone wants is the fantasy football talk. That's what I want.
So where should we start? Should we start with some injuries?
Yeah, there's been the only big injury,
Not
obviously.
too many.
Yeah, the only big injury that we've talked about was Cam Akers, but that was right at the start of like NOTAs, real early. So now it's Darrell Henderson. He's been moving up draft boards quite a bit in all the drafts I've seen. But there hasn't been a whole bunch of injury news. There was Carl Lawson. He tore his Achilles today at camp, but that's defensive end. The only other injury that I can recall that's going to miss a lot of time. He either will start on the PUP or the IR. IR again is going to be just 3 weeks this year. And that's Rashad Bateman, core muscle surgery, rookie receiver. So,
yeah, that's right, for the Ravens.
Yeah, so that's the only big news, and everyone's they're on Saquon Barkley watch. But that's
we got Saquon Barkley watch. We have Carson Wentz watch. We have Dak Prescott watch. We have Donovan Smith watch.
Deontay.
Yeah, Deontay Smith watch.
Devontae Smith. He's
Devontae
playing
Smith,
tonight.
Whatever his name is. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right, he's playing.
He's playing tonight. Yeah, he's clear. He's been team practicing all week.
Obviously, the other one. Oh, DeAndre Swift is dealing with a tender groin right now.
Yep, he was back today. I could practice today.
But the other big one is Michael Thomas. I don't know if we talked about him before or not.
Yeah, Michael Thomas. Dealing with that ankle injury still. Don't really know the timetable. He might start on the PUP. He might start on IR. He might just get back, but there's a lot of nuances in that. I know him and the organization aren't getting along very well. So,
right.
Based on just all the beat reports and his tweets, and he's just not very happy. I saw one meme. I was going to share it to the Facebook group. It's like, it's all fun and games until Bill Belichick trades for Michael Thomas for a 3rd round pick.
That could happen.
Exactly. Like the most Bill Belichick thing ever.
Another scary one just happened yesterday. Robbie Anderson with a hamstring injury.
Yep.
Hamstring injuries and fast receivers is normally an issue they suffer all year if they start having it in the preseason.
Will Fuller hasn't practiced yet. He's got a foot injury. But Robbie Anderson, like last year, he didn't play that speedster role that he normally played in New York. So, I mean, obviously he's fast, and you got to watch hamstrings, the hammy tweaks. But that's how. I mean, we're in preseason now. Everyone's kind of getting an eye on everything. A lot of people aren't playing their studs. Like Dak Prescott's probably not going to play in the preseason. Christian McCaffrey sure as hell ain't going to play in the preseason. Barkley probably not going to play in the preseason. I heard Joe Burrow wants to play in the preseason. Speaking of injuries, Joe Burrow, I heard he wants to play in the preseason. But They're and I mean Jamar Chase is good. Don't get me wrong. He hasn't done a whole lot. He didn't play last year in college, but I think they're going to regret passing on Penei Sewell. Like, I really do think they're going to.
Yeah, that goes to the Bengals offense in general has a bunch of question marks right now in terms of the workload. But we really aren't going to know who Joe Burrow really likes until we see it on the field.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep hammering away. Do you want to put our first one on the board here? I like you're probably going to say the same thing though, so maybe we don't, but I like T. Higgins to be the top scoring Cincinnati wide receiver.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get to that draft that year.
All right.
317.
Lean and I were shooting the shit at work the other day, and I gave him a proclamation, which was I bet that the Jets' number one scoring wide receiver will not outscore the Cowboys' number 3 fantasy points pass catcher. So that includes wide receivers and tight ends.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
That's close. I actually like a lot of the Jets receivers.
Do you? Who do you go with? Where do you go?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the rookie Elijah Moore.
He's a little higher up on the draft boards right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I've been taking him in a bunch of my best ball drafts. But I mean, we'll see what Corey Davis does in a different environment too. Obviously he had a great yards per route run last year. He was really good last year. Granted, was that because of AJ Brown? Is that because he wasn't playing the alpha role? But I
think that was a Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill thing.
Yeah. But I mean, who's that third points getter? Probably going to be Michael Gallup, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah, I don't think either of the tight ends will come close to Gallup's numbers.
Probably not.
But I would take the Jet side almost, like not having to pick. Like, do
you want to put that on the board?
Let me wait till closer to the season.
Let's put it on the board. Let's get our first one out there. I'll take the Cowboys number 3 fantasy points pass catcher, fantasy point total over any Jets wide receiver.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take the.
All right, put it on the board.
Put it on the board. I might have just dug myself in an early hole, but that's why we have all season for it.
Where are we documenting these this year?
I'll get
the real question
in the Google Doc again.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Other injuries. We talked Carson Wentz a little bit. They're saying he's going to be on track, ready to go. Same with Quentin Nelson, exact same foot surgery, which is weird. But they expect them both back. At least from the recent reports, that they both expect to be back very soon. So we'll see about that. We've seen Jonathan Taylor's ADP fluctuate over the course of the last 2 weeks with that news. But he'll probably fall in the first round. I mean, I don't know what everyone else is going to do in our draft, but he might be an early guy that goes.
So what is your thoughts on Saquon Barkley?
I mean, he's just a great athlete. I mean, I know the injury is rough, recovering from the ACL, but I mean, when you take Saquon Barkley, like you're taking him as your rock. So if you take him, you better believe he's going to get you first, or it could be last.
Right. Yeah. Saquon, it's really kind of a dart throw. Um, it's really tough to tell right now because the Giants really aren't telling us anything. Um, but one might think that the risk is worth it.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, that's how you go with, and that's why like me picking at 12. I truly don't believe I'm going to get Saquon Barkley because there's first of all Cole is right in front of me, who's one of the riskiest drafters ever. So there's no way he's going to get past Cole. I don't think he's going to get past the top 8. Honestly, I think people are just going to be like it's Saquon Barkley. He's going to be fine.
It'll be like, it's where does the value meet the risk?
Mm-hmm.
That's all what this is going to come down to. I know I'll have a really tough choice when it comes to my spot with him because right now in every mock I've done so far this year, he easily makes his way to 7.
Yeah, I actually
I don't
got
know
him
what you've seen.
I've actually got him at a 12 spot today, which was really weird. I don't think he's going to get there. But yeah, I don't know.
12 spot.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got him at the 12 spot. But in some of these best ball like high stakes drafts, like he's gone in the second round. Like people just everybody passes on him once. Like I don't know. To jump in this other one, I'm gonna jump in. Last 3 digits are
57339.
3. Let's do 338. I'm gonna go from the 3.
Well, I couldn't get in one of them because. All right, hold on. Let me go back. Stay in 338. I'll get in there.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. We're doing a little bit of gymnastics right now. Trying to do a mock draft for this episode because I felt like that'd be pretty fun. Which hole are you in? The 5?
Maybe we should not tell each other. No, that's fine. I'm in the 6. I'm in the 6th spot.
He's having a little bit of internet connectivity issues right now, I believe. Anyway, I'll fill.
Can you hear me? Dalton. Go ahead.
5. And we're back. Sorry for the confusion there and the rambling. I didn't want any dead air, but we had a little bit of technical difficulties. Zach's internet or computer or something weird happened. No worries.
I'm glad the whole Zoom call didn't drop though, which would have been bad.
Yeah. I'm the host now, right?
I don't think you're the host.
Nope, you are the host. Do you want to share the screen so that people can see? We have decided to do a fantasy football calculator mock draft, which is the only engine Zach and I will use in today's day because holy crap, is it great?
Yeah, I'm all right. So here we go.
Normally doesn't take a lot of computer data. Normally the drafts are full of people,
full of crazies like us.
Yeah, everybody who's in this website is drafting for real. I mean, there's some occasional trolls, but
yeah, I hate those folks. When they just start talking trash in the chat, I don't even reply.
So if you guys are on audio only, if you wouldn't mind switching over to the YouTube channel, if you'd like to see the draft, we're going to go ahead and call out the picks. We'll call out the ones that we see as interesting, and we'll also call out ours and why we're thinking that in that moment.
And for people listening though, like we're not drafting in our Gem City Gridiron draft slots.
No, because that would be draft has started. Christian McCaffrey, right. Dalvin Cook 1-2. Zach is drafting from the 3 hole.
I am going from the 3 hole. I'm going. I'm gonna go Alvin Kamara. Got a lot of high ceiling. It's just we'll see what happens when they actually announce who
Is the
the
starting
starter
quarterback.
is. If it's Jameis, I'm more comfortable with Kamara. If it's Taysom,
Uh-huh.
not as much.
It's like because if you look at the numbers when Kamara was with Taysom Hill, they were not great.
Yeah, and I'm not really too like I've done enough drafts. I'm not really fond of like the 3, 3, and 4 slots. I like 5, 6, 7.
I'll be honest. I've found I'm not a huge fan of 7, but I have started to put together a couple strategies. I still don't know which way I'm leaning.
Yeah,
but I've got 2 paths that I can take that I think I'm okay with.
yeah. And I mean, when I'm practicing in my draft hole, it's like I definitely try a lot of different strategies: double RB, double wide receiver, split the difference, take a tight end. Obviously,
Just to see how it looks.
Yeah, just to see how it looks, see how the roster construction works. What spot are you in, Dalton? You're in the 12.
I am in the 12 spot. The next picks after Zach's Kamara went 4 slot. Derrick Henry, Zeke, Adams, Kelsey. We're now sitting at the 8 spot. There are 2 computer teams preceding Zach, so I feel like his draft is going to be a little weird down there at the front.
Yeah.
Ooh, Eckler ahead of Aaron
up.
Jones, Nick Chubb, and Saquon Barkley. Look at that.
Yeah. I've seen him go a lot of fluctuation. Nick Chubb's another one too. He just went.
Yeah. Chubb goes anywhere from the 5 slot to the 13 slot.
Yeah. He's not really one on my radar. I'll put that out there, but not really into Nick Chubb.
I don't think you're going to have a chance to get him, to be honest.
I don't think so either, which is fine. If someone puts me in the situation, I mean, I don't think so. I had him a couple years ago, but Aaron Jones, the 10 spot.
Not bad. We'll see if 11 spot picks up Barkley. Otherwise, I'm going to have a pretty tough choice down here in this 12 hole.
I mean, at 12, I feel like you just got to. I mean, you have 20 some odd picks before your next pick. Like, I feel like you just have to take Barkley if he's there. No, he went there at 11.
Well, so Barkley goes. All right, we're going to make this real weird. And we are going to take back-to-back receiver.
I like it.
Because the number 2 and the number 3 receiver fell to me. So I'm going Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs. Back to the 11 hole, the guy who took Saquon Barkley right before I had the chance to make the tough decision.
I've definitely toyed around with that strategy. Too wide.
So there's two ways to go there at that 12 hole. I think you can either go the 2 wide or the 2 RB.
Yeah, I don't mind splitting it either, though. Like, depends on the players that are there. I mean, every draft is different. It's going to be interesting to see what our league mates do. So
right. Najee Harris and Jonathan Taylor are another 2 running backs who are kind of like malleable in terms of where they end up on the board.
Yeah, if we were drafting in our spots, I was going to toy with Luke and take Najee Harris there because I know he loves Najee, and I was just going to freak him out that I'm going to take him. Which, I mean, maybe I'll take him. I don't know.
Next 3 picks go Antonio Gibson, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris. We're now at the 8 hole.
Hopkins.
Now back to the 7. The 7th guy selected Travis Kelce in the first round, his second pick. He is staring down another tough decision. Does he go 0 RB or does he pick up a running back here? When you start off with Kelce, it really puts a wrinkle in your draft strategy because you're kind of behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, but you're so solidified as well.
You're so far ahead in tight end, but you are behind the 8 ball in terms of running backs and receivers. This second round pick is one of the tougher choices I've found in being in the 7 hole this year.
Yeah. And you kind of just get what gets to you if it's one of those top tier receivers or whichever running back that falls to you.
And there goes the number 5 receiver, Calvin Ridley. I think that's kind of what you have to do there because I feel like the tier of running backs just turned over between CEH, Joe Mixon, and Dobbins. I feel like they're in a separate tier than everybody else. But
not too far behind. I think the tier break definitely drops off after CEH and Mixon. That's a small tier.
Yeah. Yep. I think the tiers at least the way I see the tiers this year. DK Metcalf, Joe Mixon just went off the board. I think it goes. You got your top 5, right? CMC, Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Henry, Elliott. And then there's a big bundle of guys, which is Eckler, Chubb, Jones, Gibson, Taylor, Harris. And we don't really know which one Barkley falls under yet.
Yeah, I would put...
That was a reach. Miles Sanders in the 2.4 slot.
We'll go Waller.
Where would you put Barkley? That's good value there.
I would put I love him right here.
You're back on the clock. Yep.
Quick tap.
Yep. Then I went C.H. Dobbins, Justin Jefferson, Pat Mahomes, and Zach followed up in the 3rd round with A.J. Brown. He now has his running back, tight end, wide receiver core.
Where I put so my tier breaks it just like not in any order. Tier 1 is McCaffrey and Cook. Tier 2, I would say Kamara, Henry, Zeke. And I'd probably tier break, and then Eckler, Chubb, Jones, Barkley, tier break. Gibson, Najee,
Taylor, Harris, and maybe Mixon.
Maybe I would Gibson, Taylor, Harris, CEH, Mixon. I'd all probably throw in the same tier. But I mean, it's just how it's broken up in the draft board. Like that's how I would do it. Like, I mean, obviously Cook and McCaffrey are their own tier.
You know what's funny is when you look at the draft board, it kind of breaks the tiers open for you.
Yeah, like you see where the value is, and
yeah.
I mean, at that 12 hole, Hill and Diggs, that's a hell of a start.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I've not practiced that before. The picks went as follows: Chris Carson, Josh Jacobs, George Kittle, CeeDee Lamb. There's still quite a bit of value on the board. I think the only problem with my strategy is because I'm in the 12 hole and so far away, my number 1 running back is going to be a little sketchy.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you do that, like sometimes I feel like if I go two wide receivers to start, I rip off 2 more. I just kind of
full punt the position.
I did one draft. I'm in one of my high stakes ones, and I committed four wide receivers in a row, and from the 5 slot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you probably went Adams, Metcalf, Lamb, something like that.
Close. I went Hill, Ridley, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett.
Oh, okay. The next picks went CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Robert Woods, and then I picked up David Montgomery. I think if Terry McLaurin had made his way,
you have one more pick
I would have
too.
Taken him. Yeah, I'm just contemplating. I think I like the, just the high ceiling here. Maybe it's not that high of a ceiling. Maybe it's more of a Todd Gurley situation where it's low ceiling, low floor. But went with DeAndre Swift. So I got my first 2 running backs, first 2 wide receivers. Ideally, I would have liked to see either McLaurin or Robert Woods fall there, and then I would have taken my 3rd receiver. But
I haven't seen McLaurin get there.
No, I've not seen David Montgomery get there either.
I've seen him a few times. I've seen Swift get there. It's one of the furthest I've seen Keenan Allen fall.
True. He actually, I was mock drafting a little bit today. He was falling quite a bit. There goes Chris Godwin.
There's the Darrell
Henderson.
That's about where he's going in most drafts.
That was probably another route I could have taken. I don't know how much I believe in his durability.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Myles Gaskin. It's a little early for me.
I agree. Do you think this guy just really wanted running back there? I don't see any reason for that pick there.
No, I would have definitely gone with a receiver.
One of the receivers, especially since he only has Allen Robinson and he started his draft Chubb Harris. You don't really need that 3rd guy right now, but
Yeah, we've talked about. I mean, you don't really want running backs in your flex. It's hard.
Right. There are currently 4 teams in this mock draft with running backs in their flex.
Yeah, that's not something I would do. I've done it in some of my best ball drafts. I'm doing one draft right now I've taken in best ball. I've taken running backs in the first 3 picks, and I'm not taking another running back.
Right. Yeah, because you don't really have
3.
to.
No. And when my running backs are, I drew the 2 slot: Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, CEH.
That's not bad at all. Is that a 10 team?
The 12 team.
Oh, okay. That's lucky.
Yeah, I got lucky, and receivers have been going nuts on Underdog. So it's my first 3 running back build I'm doing, and I'm not taking. It's all 3 running backs have different buys. I am just gonna go. Let's see here.
Zach is sitting in the 3 hole now. There's still 2 wide receivers that are available that are very interesting. He could randomly go quarterback here and just fill out his top 1 in each category. He goes with Cooper Kupp, one of the last 2 wide receivers in that tier, I believe.
Yeah, I passed on Julio Jones just because I had AJ Brown.
Good call.
In best ball, I probably wouldn't have done that
because you just would have stacked him.
I would have stacked him up.
Because in best ball, what makes it different is that if an offense goes off, typically it doesn't matter because you're going to have both the players in the same offense that are going off at the same time.
Yeah, coincidentally, I do have one Titans super stack. This was before the Julio Jones trade. I have a Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Ryan Tannehill stack. So it was fun.
So if they go 13-3 this year, then that's probably going to be a winning team.
Oh yeah. But it's best ball. It's just a $5 one.
What's another interesting draft spot we've seen here so far? It's pretty chalk. Wouldn't you say, since my pick?
Yeah, I don't like team number 5. 3 running backs, and then he takes Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas's ADP
wide receiver.
Michael Thomas's ADP hasn't quite settled yet.
No,
at least in calculator in Underdog and FFPC, the ones that I play in, it's settled around pick 90.
The guy who should have picked Michael Thomas is the guy who's on the clock now, who went Eckler, Hopkins, Allen, Cooper.
Yeah, I still
that's who needs Michael Thomas that early. No, I mean it's still a little early, but
yeah. So a few picks. Round 5: Kyler Murray, DJ Moore. I took Tyler Lockett, Lamar Jackson, Michael Thomas, Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, Aaron Rodgers. That's a little early.
Here comes the quarterback run, Brandon Ayuk. Something that is weird on the calculator that we're not going to see in our league is the fact that quarterbacks go way early
in calculator.
On these mocks.
People have been pretty receptive in our league. The quarterbacks get shifted down a little bit. But that, I mean, the top tier guys like Mahomes and Allen and Kyler, they're going to go still early. That's your boy Adam Thielen right there.
I'm going a little bit weird. I know we don't want running backs in our flex, but does he even count?
No, not really.
Adam Thielen, Kareem Hunt were my 2 picks just here. I've now got a pretty good core of running back and wide receiver.
Yeah. I'm still riding with just one running back right now with Alvin Kamara.
We've also learned over these years that when you're picking in those first 5 picks, you don't really need a second running back.
Yeah, the year McCaffrey went nuts. I mean, he was essentially 2 running backs.
2 running backs in one, yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't matter who you plugged in and played. You were already getting 2 running back numbers. So you were taking care of your RB1, RB2 when you're scoring 30 points a game, which is all you can really hope for.
I heard an interesting topic brought up on the Fantasy Football Marathon where Matt Berry Matthew Berry and Daniel Dopp were talking about how Hawkinson, they believe that the whole Lions offense is going to run through Hawkinson. What do you feel about that?
I like it. Hawkinson and Swift, I think both are fine. Yeah, I'm good with both of them. Again, like taking time. I mean, it's a little early for me still. But I like Swift more than Hawkinson just based on the value.
I can tell you that I am likely not going to have any shares of Hawkinson, just because that's just not the way I draft. It's not my strategy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm kind of this year. If you get one of the top 3, maybe 4 tight ends, then you just wait a while.
Right, but I don't think Pitts should be drafted where he's drafted. I will have 0 shares of Kyle Pitts this year because of his ADP.
Yeah.
You just don't take rookie tight ends.
Yeah, but if he hits, people are just going to feel left out, so they're doing it anyway. I'm going to go.
That's a good point.
I'm going to take the rookie. I'm going to go Ja'Marr Chase here.
All right, we got a rookie Ja'Marr Chase coming off the board. Speaking of which, I've got another board bet for you. If you'd like.
I'm going to stack up.
After you pick. Stacking up Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett stack.
Yeah, why not? Try it out.
I
haven't had many teams from the 3 spot, so
I believe T. Higgins will be the top fantasy point scorer among the wide receivers on the Cincinnati Bengals.
I agree. I
okay.
Do. Doesn't stop me from taking Ja'Marr Chase, but I still believe T. Higgins should go ahead of him.
Well, he did in this draft.
Yeah. Well, the ADP has flipped. It used to be Chase was ahead.
Yeah. Yep.
But it has flipped.
Which I like because
yes,
T. Higgins was a monster last year.
Yeah.
I will be absolutely shocked if Justin Herbert gets back to me right now, but there is a
non-quarterback teams here.
Yeah,
round 7, Damian Harris, Dallas Goedert, Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Michael Carter, Leonard Lombardi, Lenny Fournette, Melvin Gordon, Zach Moss, Justin Herbert.
Yep. 2 more picks to go, and I honestly don't know which direction I'm going to go in here. It'll all depend on what gets back to me. I actually like the value of Logan Thomas here, to be honest with you, even though I'm not a huge fan of taking middle round tight ends.
Yeah. It's kind of the tight end zone right here.
Middle area. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, going back to Kyle Pitts, it's so interesting though. I know we've had some really bad rookie tight ends, but again, people are going to just miss out. I mean, he's going to go early. I don't know how early in our draft, but he's been settling.
Brady.
Yeah, he's been settling in a lot of these drafts in the 5th round, at least on on underdog. But
I think I know which direction I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go for some home runs here.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to take Logan Thomas because, like I said, it kind of goes against my draft strategy, and middle round tight ends are just so meh. So I'm gonna go Devontae Smith.
There you go.
With my first pick, rookie. Most rookie wide receivers who are high draft capital are actually really good. And then I'm going to go for another boom guy. I know we talked about in this show, he's got that hamstring injury, which normally carries with you, but I'm going Robbie Anderson with my 8th round pick.
Nice.
I don't think it's a huge deal because, I mean,
Nope.
I've got Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Devontae Smith. So if Robbie Anderson is hurt, it's not a big deal.
Nope. I totally agree. Well, I should probably start looking at a second running back.
Yeah, not much left, man.
Not much left.
There is maybe one starter left. Well, 2.
Yeah, we'll see. See what comes back around.
there's two starters left. I think one of them you can wait till your 9th round pick.
Yeah.
And whenever this guy goes, I'll do a little breakdown on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Antonio Brown goes there. That was my other option, but I just don't know if there's enough balls to go around in Tampa Bay. So
Juju goes.
I'm honestly good on Juju this year.
You what?
I'm not going to take. I'm good on him. Okay. I'm not going to take him off my draft board, just because the one year I decided to take people off my draft board, it was my worst year of fantasy football ever.
Yeah.
So
never say never.
No longer. Exactly. I'm not the never guy anymore.
No, just because they burned you, I'm okay with that as long as they fall to me in value.
Mm-hmm. There goes Jamal Williams. So there goes one of the possible starting running backs still left on the board, Ronald Jones.
He's not.
James Conner.
He's not the starting running back.
You think it's Leonard Fournette?
No, you said James Conner.
No, I was talking about Ronald Jones.
Oh, I was like, James Conner's not the starting running back.
No, James Conner's not the starting.
Gotcha.
James Conner is not the starting running back. It is.
It's Chase Edmonds.
I'm blanking his name. Yes, Chase Edmonds. How did I blank on his name? Chase Edmonds, ADP. The risk is built into his ADP.
Yeah. All right.
I know you got to focus right now. So you did pick up your quarterback. There are now only 3 teams without a quarterback, myself being one of them. Zach goes Laviska Shenault.
And there went the running backs.
There goes A.J. Dillon, Noah Fant, Mike Williams, Kenyon Drake. There still is one starting running back left on the board. However, his ADP is much further down.
The starting running back?
Yeah. You actually could wait till next round if you wanted to, based on ADP.
Yeah, I don't even. That was a rough decision there.
I honestly, I mean, just for analysis sake, I will say I love Kenyon Drake this year.
Yeah.
There goes Gus Edwards, Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, I was thinking A.J. Dillon was going to come back. But I can never trust the computers.
Right. Yeah, because you got 2 computers bookending you there.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I do it like that. Again, Kenyon Drake burned me last year. That is perfectly fine. Yes, he burned me, but I do like Kenyon Drake this year.
There goes Jalen Waddle, another dart throw.
How about we end this at round 10?
Yep, that's what I said earlier.
Okay.
I don't remember. Did I verbalize that? Maybe I didn't.
Maybe when we were on the break.
Maybe. I think I know who I'm targeting next. But we will see how the draft falls. There goes Tyler Boyd, which is a good pick for that team because that guy only has 3 wide receivers. There goes the final starting running back, Philip Lindsay.
I think that's going to just be a true running back by committee. I don't think Lindsay or Johnson. I think it's going to be both.
It's going to be no good. But if you just need a guy, like if you're drafting Christian McCaffrey and no other running back, and you just pick up Philip Lindsay in the 9th round, I don't hate it.
No.
Man, some of these teams have a ton of running backs. Look at this computer team in the 2 slot.
The running back
Dalvin Cook, CEH, Mike Davis, James Robinson, A.J. Dillon, Kenyon Drake, and DJ Moore as the lone wide receiver.
And that's a computer team. In the fantasy football podcast world, that would be a high testosterone team.
Is that what they call it? High T?
High T. I'm a very low T team right now.
You draft that team hoping that you can flip some of those guys.
You are up.
And I know the direction I'm going to go. Unfortunately, that I don't get to stack anything up, but I'm going to go with the last Um, you know, one of the last decent quarterbacks left on the board. I was the last team to select quarterback. I just don't want to pass on this guy because in these mocks, teams will double up.
Yeah. Looking back at mine, I probably wouldn't have taken Russell Wilson there.
Was it a bit early for you?
A little bit. I wanted to stack it up. I would have much rather gone maybe another receiver there.
And speaking of receivers, we're going to go with another high-end wide receiver or high upside with Mecole Hardman, who is the true number 2 wide receiver in the Kansas City offense this year. Final round, we did have a defense go in the 9th round, which is far too early. Please, people, do not draft defenses that early.
Last 2 rounds.
Yes, last 2 rounds.
And your other last 2 round goes to your kicker.
Yes. Defense kicker, last 2 rounds.
Unless
inevitably every year. Go ahead.
Unless the only time I take a kicker in defense early is if I'm in the 1 or 2 hole or the 11 or 12 hole, and I don't want to wait to the very, very end of the last round.
That's an interesting.
Because then you don't get stuck with crap.
Right.
You can actually take a choice. And then I just take best player available, my last pick. So like in our draft, I might do that because we have odd number rounds. If you're in the early slot, I usually do it. But a lot of the drafts I've done this year are no kickers, no defense, and it's great. You don't have to worry about it.
Right. You know what's funny is looking at your and I's team, it is very clear what we're targeting. If you just look at the sheer number of wide receivers we have.
Yeah. There's this blue block in here. That's so weird.
What blue block?
This blue.
The running backs. Yeah.
This blue running back block.
Javonte Williams. It literally looks like a periodic table's going on.
I'll get me some running back points.
All right, Nyheim Hines, and with that, I'm going to turn mine on
finish this
computer control.
I'll just get some running back points.
All right, Nyheim Hines, J.D. McKissick finishes it off, and with that, I am going to close out of the mock, and that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Definitely I hope different drafting out of different holes.
Yeah, I hope we broke down the picks enough to where it was somewhat helpful, like the mindset that we go in. And I think you and I have kind of developed very similar draft strategies, not to say that it's the only one out there and not to say that there's a right one or a wrong one, but you can win in any way. Really just make sure you go into the draft with a goddamn plan of action.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do some mocks, figure out what the ADPs are that everybody is, making, because all ADPs on most websites are developed by calculating, all right, how often was this person drafted? And they'll move depending on where they're being drafted, But yeah, just get some practice in, figure out what the consensus is, and go into it with a goddamn plan. Know who you're targeting and where you're targeting them and why and how they fit into the rest of your team. And you're going to have a lot better success in the draft.
Yeah, it takes practice. The more mocks you do, the more just drafts you do in general, especially on this website, you can choose your spot and you can kind of practice that spot and just get reps at it. And you kind of tinker with a bunch of different lineups and players. I mean, the same players are starting to come back in the same rounds. You start liking certain players at their ADPs, know when players you might be able to wait on, but it also depends on where you're at in the draft. Like where I'm at in the 12 spot, I really can't just hope. If I want somebody,
you got to take them.
Don't be. I'm not afraid to reach for a player. I don't want to reach too high. Usually about a round is about where I go. I don't like to reach more than a round and a half, about a round. Depends on where you're at, but a round is pretty safe.
You in the 12 hole need to take control of your own destiny, whereas me in the 7 hole, I am at the will of everyone else.
Yep, and you can kind of you have your picks come faster. You can kind of play like you're not going to get stuck on a run.
No.
Like if there's a tight end run late, you're not going to get stuck. Or a quarterback run, or that wide receiver run that is inevitable. Like you're going to be able to pick your way out of it. Whereas people in the 1 hole and the 12 hole, like you're just kind of waiting it out. 1 and 2, 11 and 12. You're just waiting it out. But yeah, couple more weeks.
Couple more weeks
for the Gym City
Is it
Gridiron
2
draft.
weeks?
It is. It'll be 2 weeks on
Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's coming down. Cleared it with the library. We're good to go. They know we're coming. They know we're eating. They know we're drinking. It's going to be a good time.
Zach has already sent out those Venmo requests.
Yeah.
I think
for people that have Venmo.
Last order of business is maybe we'll touch on some rule changes. We're probably going to want to put in an IR spot again this year, right?
We can talk about it there. I really don't. The only way I'd want to do an IR spot is if we just truly do an IR spot. But
you don't want to do a COVID one?
No, I think
it never really bit anybody, did it?
No, I mean, what bit people last year was more are they going to postpone games, and which they're not going to this year. But if it's a forfeit, it's a forfeit. You're going to lose that game. So not forfeit in fantasy, but the National Football League. If a team has an outbreak based on unvaccinated players, they're going to be responsible for the forfeit. Not a forfeit for our league, obviously. That's out of your hands. But I don't think we're going to want an IR spot. We have a deep enough bench. We can
discuss it at the draft.
Yeah, and we can talk about it. But again, it's going to be for COVID reasons, and it's what's one spot? It's not going to really do much. What if you have 2 guys? I mean,
right.
I'm in the ballpark of no COVID, no IR COVID spot.
I'm fine either way. I'm Switzerland in this debate.
One order of business. No one's commented on it. Well, I need some league division names.
Yes.
So keep bouncing some ideas around. That's the only thing I really don't have. If you are going to change your team name, change it soon so I can get it updated on the draft board before I print those stickers out.
Maybe because this is my first idea, and most of the ones that I've thought of have been dumb, and I'm pretty sure most people are in the same boat as me, where like they don't want to comment it because they think about it, their idea, and they're like, that's dumb. But maybe because our draft is stationed in Laramie, we make it the last names of 2 of the quarterbacks that played there while we were going to school there. We could have like a Brett Smith division and an Austin Carter Samuel division.
Oh, I was going to say Josh Allen.
Well, I know, but everybody knows Josh Allen. Not everybody knows Austin Carter Samuel.
And Brett Smith, yeah.
Brett Smith, Austin Carter Samuel?
Maybe.
Yeah,
we just got to keep bouncing some ideas around.
Or maybe like the war and the AA.
That's not a bad. I like that one.
That's not a bad idea, is it? The war memorial and the AA.
Yeah,
or the war
that's not bad.
and AA. Yeah. Hey, there we go.
That's not too bad. That's leader in the clubhouse right there, fellas.
That's not bad. Look at that. Just spitballing.
Quick little rundown. I'm going to go through the draft order one time again, 2 weeks out. Pick number 1, we have Patrick Turn. Pick 2, Lean. 3, Garrett Brinkman. 4, Blaster Englert. 5, Stuart Brinkman. 6, Drew. 7, Sipping with the Sarge, Dalton Van Pelt. 8, Jubal Sackett. 9, Big Luke Stewart. 10, Heath Sims, the 3rd place finisher. 11, Cole Smith, the runner-up. And in the 12th hole, that would be me, your defending champ. So we will sit in the order as we always do, the big horseshoe. As far as I know, everyone is going to be in attendance. Cole is the only one that's iffy. He's in Montana right now working, but he is doing his best to get there. We will have the toilet seat one way or the other there for Lean.
Riding it from the 2-hole.
Riding it from the 2-hole, baby. But Cole is working his butt off to try to make sure he can get down there. But yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody and enjoying a good football weekend.
My last thing I'll leave you with, Secret Base, a YouTube channel I have talked about a couple times on this show, just dropped the first episode of the history of the Atlanta Falcons. So nice. Give that a watch because I'm sure that's a hoot. The same creators from the history of the Seattle Mariners. I'm sure I've talked about that on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, I think that is an off-season episode, Zach.
That is. It's a long episode. Thanks for anyone sticking with us to the very end.
It's not as long as our last one.
We might be able to get a couple podcasts next week. I'm going to be in Rollins. Might be able to do a twofer down there, same area. Be able to set up the mics and do an in-person one, and might do another one as we get closer to our draft.
We can do another quick one recap on what happened at the end of this fantasy baseball weekend, and then talk about some injury news because I'm sure we'll have more of it by next weekend.
Preseason, we're in week 2 preseason. It's the big week.
It's going on right now.
So
while we're recording.
Yeah, I haven't even checked.
Well,
I've been getting draft notifications though that I'm on the clock.
I haven't looked at it. All right, gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed.